This ain't got shit to do with the video that I posted concerning a white guy, a Caucasian guy, who said that black people could not survive without white people, without Caucasians. So let's look at what two people said. First guy just said, no, they wouldn't, meaning that we wouldn't be able to survive without Caucasian. This other person, this is the kind of bullshit that you utilize in order to distract the conversation because you didn't listen to anything that I said in the video. Whoa, whoa, whoa. People of color have slave traded longer than paleface, run many dynasties. Kid is reacting to being told white is to blame for all the history. Sure, he is young and has much to learn, but he is more ignorant and racist than people of color. So sick of the race baiting, divisive propaganda. The global elitists are, yeah. All right. Here's the thing. And I need you to hear me clearly. Now, this person, the second person, I don't know what side of the fence that they're actually trying to be on because they seem to flip-flop a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if they're talking about me or talking about the other person. But many other people start talking about, oh, you're a racist, you're a racist, you're a racist, and they're black racists and that this thing and this sort of thing. True. Black people can't be racist. I'm not denying that at all. Where in the first video did I say anything about if people of color did not have the advent of Caucasians, that everything would be rainbows and sunshine? It would not. We all still have frailties. We all still have greed. We all still are materialistic to a certain degree. We all still have power cravings. So would it all be hunky-dory? No. There will still be leadership and there will still be poor people. There will still be punishments and there will still be crimes. You will still have all those things in every society, just as every society has always had. Nobody said that it'll be sunshines and rainbows. Now, the part that really gets my goat is the fact that you want to excuse the horrific history of Europeans, of Caucasians, by saying that, oh, people of color have had slaves as well, that they have utilized slavery. Was it as barbaric? No. Does it even matter if it was? Not really. At no point in time in history is slavery okay. I'm not saying that. Not even at all. And just because the Moors, for example, conquered the Iberian Peninsula and the Italian Peninsula for 700 years does not justify European incursions into India, into China, into the Americas, into the South Pacific or Japan or any other place. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Nothing. And when we look at slavery as far as Africans on Africans back in the day, so what? That type of slavery was different. It wasn't racial slavery, it was ethnic slavery. You cannot lump all Africans in the same category, just the same way as you cannot lump all Europeans in the same category. There's a difference between the Scottish and the Irish and the English and the Spanish and the French and the Germans and the Austrians and the Russians and everybody else. There were differences between those ethnic groups that went to war against one another for resources or any other reason or rationale, and yet they enslaved each other just as Zulus and Ashantis and everybody else in the African continent had ethnic wars. If you lost in the ethnic war, then you oftentimes became POW slaves to the winning group, and oftentimes you got to keep your family, keep your religion, and keep your humanity. It is the American slave trade and the colonization process that was used based on race and dehumanizing the people. There is a difference between those and what happened in Africa, in China during the Warring States time frame is one of those that come to mind, that happened differently between the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayans and other Mesoamerican cultures. There is a difference between ethnic enslavement and racial enslavement, because just as in the African scramble, Europeans didn't give two shits about the different ethnicities of the people. They just drew lines based on their desire of controlling what land and what resources. That was it. Didn't care about the ethnicities. It was all because you were heavily melanated, so we were lumped into one category. That's all. That's it. It is not validating any form of racism whatsoever. What I was saying in the video, that point that y'all continue to miss, is that people of color existed perfectly fine, although not sunshines and rainbows, without Caucasians. And today, people of color can exist without Europeans, without Caucasians, and it all still won't be sunshines and rainbows. But guess what we won't have? We won't have redlining. We won't have you don't get a job because of the color of your skin. We won't have police brutality based on race. Those are certain things that we won't have, and a lot more that we would not have based on race, which is a made-up concept in the first place, but that we would not have. But we have the engineers, we have the politicians, we have the military officers, we have the school teachers, we have the sanitation people, we have everything that is necessary within every group of people of color to be able to sustain and create and manifest our own civilization without you. And yes, there will be some poor people. There will be some disenfranchised people. It doesn't matter what group it is, there's going to be some of that. Just as Europeans had poor people, disenfranchised people, oppressed people, when they were all just dealing with themselves in Europe. That's just humans and how humans operate. So to say that we can't exist without y'all is a bold-faced lie. And don't use the excuse of our previous ancestors having ethnic wars that created ethnic slavery and try to compare it to American racial slavery. It's not race baiting, it's just facts. But you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.